Coming up on LiveWire. Coming up live on LiveWire, we're going to have a wonderful show. We're going to be talking about Fairy Tale Town. Their executive director is in the studio, and he's sitting right here, Kevin Smith-Fagan, and we're going to talk to him and learn about a most wonderful place in Sacramento, Fairy Tale Town. So right after this message. With me in the studio is Mr. Kevin Smith-Fagan. I want a name like that.
Well, I will take that as a compliment. Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me to be with you today on the program.
Well, I'm so glad you are. I've always admired Fairy Tale Town, and all of my friends who have children, we go there and we watch them, and it's fabulous. And it's been around for a long time. How did it happen?
It's a very, very special place. So, and an interesting founding. There was a Sacramentan, a woman who was a mother who visited a like park in Oakland, Children's Fairyland, which is still there today, and came back and said, we ought to have one of those in Sacramento. And she was a member of the Junior League, which is a women's leadership program, and she basically convinced the Junior League to undertake the creation of Fairy Tale Town in Sacramento, got the city on board, and in 1959, Fairy Tale Town opened to the first children and families, and now it's more than 6 decades later and more than 10 million visitors later, and it's still going strong, as magical as ever.
As ever. Oh, this is so wonderful. So the interesting thing about it is it's kind of like it really does follow all of the great fairy tales of 30 or 30, 40 fairy tales, maybe more, I don't know. When you walk through it, you can see some indication of each one of them, and each one of them has a different. Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, when a kid comes to Fairy Tale Town, they're greeted by a castle at the front gate, and there is a giant shoe slide, and there are live animals. So we've got a family of barnyard animals. So Mary's Little Lambs are there, the Billy Goat's Gruff, the 3 Little Pigs. We've got Farmer Brown's Barn. There's, from a child's perspective, it's a wonderfully interesting place. And as you mentioned, all these play sets across the park that are themed on classic fairy tales. But an interesting thing that most people never notice, nothing at Fairy Tale Town, none of the play sets move. The children need to provide the narrative. The core mission, the reason Fairy Tale Town is there at the end of the day is to promote imagination and creativity and education. And so it's a palette, it's a landscape for kids to come and be imaginative themselves.
So anybody can go there with their kid?
Yes, it is open to the public. We are open every day of the year from the beginning of March through Halloween, and then in the winter hours we cut back to 4 days a week. But you mentioned everybody visiting with children. To come to Fairy Tale Town on a typical day of operation, children need to be present. And once in a while, an adult will show up, almost always for nostalgic purposes, people whose children are grown and they want to come back and visit, where they used to bring their kids when their kids were little, and say, I'm sorry, it is by a city code. You have to have children if you want to come into Fairy Tale Town. It's for kids.
What if you just hired a kid to be there or be the walk around?
People like you are coming up with these novel ideas. Now we're going to have a line of children for hire out the front gate, and I'll have to deal with that. Thank you so much. Fairy Tale Town, I feel very blessed, and I sort of feel honored and privileged to get to play a part in this Sacramento icon. I mean, it's been there over 60 years. Yeah. It is one of the most visited sites in Sacramento. It's
Yeah.
a top 5 most visited in a typical year. 250,000 people, kids and their families, come to Fairy Tale Town, and they make memories that last forever. They last their entire lives.
So you were walking down the street one day and thought, gosh, I think I really like to work at Fairy Tale Town.
Who would not say that? Yes, I actually feel very welcome here in public television, because before starting at Fairy Tale Town, I worked for 15 years at the PBS station here in Sacramento, KVI Public Television. And my predecessor at Fairy Tale Town, a wonderful and accomplished woman named Kathy Fleming, retired after a couple decades of service, and the job was open. And I thought, wow, that's really intriguing. Like, what a wonderful place. I enjoy PBS Kids and see the importance of early literacy and bringing this wonderful world of opportunity and learning for kids. So yeah, I was very interested right away, and still feel every day. I'm so glad I get to go to Fairy Tale Town to go to work.
This is great. I must say it's a really a special place, and if we're going to have a little look at it. Maybe we can see you have like a video of just kind of some visuals of it coming forward, right?
Yeah, just brought a short video clip for viewers who may not have seen Fairy Tale Town before. So they're on the monitor, right? There is some of the live barnyard animals. There's the pirate ship, and Jack and the Beanstalk, the giant foot of the giant, of course. The Crooked Mile, I have to tell you, and there are the kids enjoying it, is the single most popular attraction. And you can ask anybody of any age who ever went to Fairy Tale Town, and they all say the Crooked Mile was their favorite thing. And it is unchanged, just as it was from the day we opened in 1959, which is kind of...
Well, you painted it up a little bit. I can see it.
It's
Very
true.
nice.
It does get a fresh paint job. But I have to say, one of the things that I find really heartening is I'll go by the Cinderella carriage, which is exactly as it was in 1959, and kids are climbing all over it and clambering and playing, and they're very vocal, you know, talking their stories out loud. And I think that's really great. You know, in a world where screens dominate so much of their lives, that there's still a place for what we would think of as, you know, sort of simple outdoor imagination play.
Three-dimensional kind of thing, where they can put their hands on it.
And it's important. When you think about problem-solving ability later in life, it starts with imagination and creativity and thinking in non-traditional ways. I mean, we want kids to know that they can make their own decisions and that they are the authors of their lives. And we want them to be able to look at things and solve them, maybe in different ways, in ways that other people don't look at it. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So much of school, which is, school of course is a good thing, but a lot of school is set up so that the education system tells you what you're supposed to know, and then you acquire it and repeat it back to them.
That's right.
And Fairy Tale Town is not like that. Fairy Tale Town is about just opening up possibilities for you, the child, to grow in your creative expression and in your imaginative capability to be an original thinker.
I didn't
what
see
we
any
want.
mothers and fathers running around there, so the mothers and fathers can be there.
Oh, they're there. They just didn't make the video clip.
Oh, I see.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. So, yes, it is a family experience. And so lots of moms and dads and caregivers and grandparents are spending time with the young ones together. And it's very heartwarming to see. It really retains that magical nature even today.
So there is this Fairy Tale Town, which has about 36 different kinds of... Do we say where this place is?
So for those who wouldn't be aware, right in the heart of Sacramento is William Land Park, in the Land Park neighborhood of the city. And a prominent address on Land Park Drive is the Sacramento Zoo. And right across the street is Fairy Tale Town.
That's right.
So just north of Sutterville.
Yeah, we just threw it on the screen.
Oh,
How
there
did they
you go.
know back there in the studio that we wanted
They're
that
good,
information?
man. They're good.
So, but there's a family camp out there showing here. That's one of the other things that we were going to talk about, which is separate program that that happened there. So let's start with the family campout.
Sure. So, of course, Fairy Tale Town is open every day for kids and their families in the schedule that I described. But we also have special programming that will go on during the course of the year, and the family campouts would be an example of those. We have a couple of those across the summer.
They spend the night in there?
They do, yes. They come in and set up camp and have a great time, and we'll, have a fire pit where they can do s'mores and stay overnight, and we leave the barnyard animals out so that the kids can enjoy them, and then they get to sleep, and if they hear the animals, they do, and if the monkeys across the street at the zoo happen to be howling, which is
that's right.
regular occurrence, that's part of their overnight experience at Fairy Tale Town.
Yeah, those are monkeys. Wow.
Yeah, so that's a fun thing that we do during the summer months when school is out. We have a series of fun camps, day camps all summer long, so that there are lots of families where both parents are working full time and their children need some type of constructive daycare.
Oh.
So we'll have a summer camp program for them. We've got a summer concert series that kicks off in June. We have, and this, by the way, for those who are dying to come to Fairy Tale Town and do not have children young enough to get them in the door, the summer concert series is a good excuse for you to get to come to Fairy Tale Town. These are evening Thursday night concerts. We have 2 in June, 2 in July, 2 in August, and it's the great summertime amphitheater vibe. You bring your picnic blanket or your camp chairs, and there's cold beer or a glass of wine if you want it. You can get tacos or go to the cafe and get a little bite to eat.
Yeah, you have a cafe there. Actually, don't you have 2 little restaurant kind of things there?
We've right now got just the one. There's a second retail cart, but the food service is out of the Dish and Spoon Cafe.
All right.
And it's a shaded lawn, and we've got 6 really, really good bands representing a diversity of music styles and backgrounds of the
funk,
performers.
And then there's some classic rock and a singing group that does classic rock. Yeah. I'm coming to that one.
All right, good. We're going to see you there. That's a good band, too. That's on June 9th. That band is called On Air. It's an 11-piece classic rock band, and 6 of the pieces are horns.
So it's coming right up.
Yes.
Coming right up. June 2nd, the Gold Souls.
Yes, so we're opening with a funk concert. This is a top Sacramento funk band, Gold Souls. And, the ticket prices are modest. For more information, people can go to fairytaletown.org/concerts and learn more about those. So we've got the June ones are, as you mentioned, the funk and the classic rock.
Yep.
Then we've got in July this terrific blues band. The Lori Morvan Band is coming up from Long Beach and is going to perform. So blues lovers will enjoy that concert a lot.
Oh, is that her right there?
That is. There's a picture of Lori Morvan and her band. She is an outstanding blues player and sizzling on the Stratocaster, extraordinarily talented. So then we've got... Later in the summer, we've got a band called Soundtrack. They're later in July, I think July 14th. They just play pop hits that were from movies. So it's all, they just do covers from movie themes.
That's good programming.
Yeah. Then we've got a Latin jazz band coming in early August. I think that's the 4th of August. Don Gato, terrific Sacramento Latin jazz band. And then we close with the Beatles tribute band in late August on the 25th.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
So variety of music and a great time in that, just, that summer, relaxed summer evening in the shade vibe.
Is absolutely right. So, and but we can find out more about this. Like, people are listening, I know. They are listening. And when we come back from our break, we'll talk about that. So, by the way, before we go on our break, I want to say that Access Sacramento does a number of programs as well that are meant for getting you closer to an art form that you're interested in. So there's the Acting for Camera workshop, which is coming right up on June 4th from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at Access Sacramento. And you can register there. There it is, Jason Bortz, who has a background in all kinds of, he's a multi-talented guy and really understands the camera and the stage, how the different acting styles work, and how you as a performer, an actor, or a friend can be able to work in both media. Sounds pretty good? Okay, so we're going to take our break. We'll be back. LiveWire.
Every year, tens of thousands of young people experience homelessness. If you or someone you know needs help, 1-800-RUNAWAY can provide support and connect you to the right resources. Together, we can end youth homelessness.
So there you are. It's flu season, and you're over 65 like me.
You might be forgetting something serious. Your annual flu shot. The flu can be life-threatening, especially if you have chronic conditions like diabetes and heart disease, which can worsen with the flu.
The immune system weakens with age. Ask about a flu vaccine option made specifically for us.
Visit ncoa.org/flu to learn more and talk to your doctor about vaccine options for people 65 and older.
There's a quiet battle happening on our streets. Pedestrians are acting indestructible. And drivers act like they own the road. They're both wrong. Be aware, be alert. Pedestrians don't have armor. A message from the California Office of Traffic Safety.
Hi, if you just tuned in, I'm talking with Kevin Smith-Fagan, who is the executive director of Fairy Tale Town. And if you don't know what Fairy Tale Town, we're going to show you and tell you once again how wonderful it is and how your children would love to go to this Fairy Tale Town. So, hi.
Hello.
Hi there. Again, here we are. Wow, how did that happen? So we were talking about it, so let's have a look at some slides, and you can be the narrator. I'm going to go for Coca-Cola.
All right. Happy to do the honors. There, up on the monitor, it looks like we've got a list of some of the upcoming events at Fairy Tale Town over the course of the summer. We've got the summer concert series. There are family campouts. On June 25th, we've got a big ice cream festival, which is Shakespeare-themed, Midsummer Night's Ice Cream Festival.
I like it.
There you go. And there are all the details on that. That, as I mentioned, is June 25th, which is a Saturday, and opportunity for us to all get dressed up in period costumes and make that era come to life for the children and get some ice cream while we're at it.
Sounds good.
Yep. There's a still photo of a family at a past Midsummer's event. And, it's fun to watch the little ones. There's another promotional about that. That's
on June 25th. And look at the costumes.
Oh, yeah. We're very big into the thematic elements at Fairy Tale Town. I mean, what's good fairy tale if you don't have the costuming right?
Absolutely.
Look at these three.
Those are great.
Cute as can be.
Really, really good. Okay, well, we're back. Hey, that sounds like a wonderful whole time that you're going to have this whole year. And the board of directors, you come up with the programs and they go, oh man, that's too crazy, or what?
No, I mean, fortunately, we're led by a very talented, very supportive board. And so COVID, of course, was a big curveball. Yeah. But Fairy Tale Town, big advantage, right? As an outdoor venue,
yes,
we were able to reopen much earlier than your typical, museum, for instance. Mm-hmm. And so,
big question: do we still have to wear these there?
Masks are now optional. At Fairy Tale Town. So families that feel strongly that they like to wear masks, of course, are welcome to do that. But we basically follow in accordance with guidelines from the CDC and the California Department of Public Health. And so for outdoor venues like Fairy Tale Town, optional is how we're doing it. And it is a place where families can come and feel safe, right? It is outdoors.
So you have other staff there, though, that can help people move people into that wonderful runaround place. What was it called?
Oh, the Crooked Mile.
Yeah,
yes.
the Crooked Mile. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. So we're extremely fortunate. I mean, Fairy Tale Town, thanks to the hard work of the grounds and facilities team, is just beautiful. I mean, it's as beautiful as a manicured gardener or an arboretum or something. It is just gorgeous. And then you've got the staff that handles the education and programs, the special events that we were talking about. I mean, some lucky soul gets to stay overnight with the campers.
That's
and,
right.
You know, and that team is dedicated to making those wonderful experiences happen. And then there are people who oversee, of course, the guest service experience and the marketing and the fundraising and all the other things that come along with having a nonprofit, which gets us all the way back to the board. We have a great volunteer board of directors and volunteer opportunities. If there are people who are watching right now and think they might like to get involved in a volunteer capacity, I would encourage them to reach out, fairytaletown.org, and let us know, because
That's a really good thing to see.
hundreds into thousands of hours are contributed by community members who just like to be part of this wonderful mission.
Good. We had some slides. I thought we were going to look at some slides. Did we just look at them?
We got a chance to look at some of the stuff that was specific to the midsummer, and now we're on to, looks like there are the June concerts, June 2 and June 9th, the funk band, the Gold Souls. Very excited to hear them. And also On Air, which is a classic rock band.
Oh,
There's a
there we
nice
go.
shot of Gold Souls. And all of the bands are local bands, with the exception one of, I did mention that blues band coming up from Long Beach in July. But we really did want to feature local bands that are outstanding. There's so much talent in the Sacramento
sure is.
music scene.
Bands. Look! Look now! Ooh, look at that!
Yeah, so very, very fun. I believe that is On Air, the
It is.
classic rock band that is going to be hitting the Mother Goose stage.
They are.
Yeah, and you know, it's worth just repeating, because people, I think, on first glance, they might assume that since the concert's at Fairy Tale Town, that it's going to be children's music. It's not. It's a venue for children and families. But these evening summer concerts
Yes.
are, you know, as we've talked about, it's funk, it's classic rock, it's Latin jazz, it's Beatles tribute, it's all kinds of different fun
Those
stuff.
are wonderful choices, and I wish you well on them, and I can see that you're going to fill up. And Midsummer Night's Dream, I wanted to go back to that, talk a little bit. So, what's the connection to Midsummer Night's Dream? Just dressing up like a fairy?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's Fairy Tale Town, right? So it's, you know, we're all about story. And of course, the Shakespearean era is full of that. And so we'll have this period, you know, costuming going on. But kids are still going to run the Crooked Mile and slide the slides and go visit with the animals. So
no other aspects of the Midsummer Night's Play that we except for the costumes.
no, it's still a free play day.
I see, okay.
But with ice cream, and our partner Crystal Creamery is our partner for that. So that's where the ice cream comes from. So yes, a good time for any and every family, especially on a hot summer day.
Yeah, which we're having.
Yes, it's that time of year. Yeah. You know, actually, this is a good opportunity to mention, because it's so shaded, on really hot days, Fairy Tale Town is where families should go, because it is typically 10 degrees or more cooler at Fairy Tale Town in many of the shaded areas than in direct sunlight. And so this is one of my summertime mantras, is to just hammer home at every opportunity that if you think it's too hot to go outside, but your kids are getting rammy because you've been stuck inside in the air conditioning because it's so hot outside, come to Fairy Tale Town. The kids can get their outlet, run around, have a great time, get a little kick of early literacy in there too, and you won't bake.
So about the literacy part, the sections that are related to a different story. Do you hear the whole story, or do you
as the families go around Fairy Tale Town, there are these story boxes. And so you rent this little key, and then you can push a button and you hear part of the story that relates to that place that you're at.
Like,
So you might be by Mary's Little Lambs, and so there's a story thing, and you push that, and there's a little. It's the Mary Had a Little Lamb folktale.
okay.
Around the corner from that is one of our newer play sets, Anansi's Web. One of the foci for the board and staff right now is to look ahead and diversify the base of play sets. Most of the play sets at Fairy Tale Town are drawn from Western European folk tales. And Sacramento today is a much more diverse community than that. And so we need to, over time, introduce
Anansi,
play
the
sets,
Spider-Man. Oh, yes,
Yes,
of course.
exactly.
I was wondering, was that, oh, yeah, Anansi, yeah.
which is an African folktale, and that was the latest, most recently introduced playset and folktale to Fairy Tale Town. And in the future, right now we're expanding and putting a new building in, the new Story Center at Fairy Tale Town, which will be open by the end of this year.
Story Center.
Yes. So this is going to be a very big deal for us, and an opportunity to bring in a multitude of diverse cultural programming, whereas Fairy Tale Town heretofore has been basically an outdoor experience.
Mm-hmm.
The Story Center is a place where kids and families will be able to come inside, and we are looking for kids to exercise their imaginations and be storytellers in the Story Center.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Sit down and write out or draw out their own original stories. There'll be a little stage where they can act them out if they
yeah?
like.
Oh, yeah.
There'll be a little reading nook. There'll be a corner we're foreseeing where there'll be a stop motion camera, and they can have little figurines act out a drama of the child's original making. We want kids.
And when
who are-
will this open? We have 1 minute, by the way.
By the end of the year. So construction is going on right now and will continue through the summer into fall, but by late fall we anticipate.
I want you to
being
come
open.
back and when it opens, okay?
Absolutely. You got a deal. I'll
Thank you
come
so
back.
much. Thanks for
Absolutely.
coming, Kevin Smith-Fagan. Thank you, and thanks for telling us all about Fairy Tale Town.
I've enjoyed it very much.
Good. I did too. We'll see you next week on LiveWire. Thanks for tuning in, and keep the faith.